How are you today?
Good. Can't complain. Can't complain. New York cold, right?
Ugh, tell me about it.
Are
And I
you?
can definitely, like, my mood is going, like, a bit lower. I'm like, I'm not a cold person. I'm from a
So
warm place.
you're new to New York?
No, I moved like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So yes and no, I guess it's a still in comparison.
So where were you coming from?
From Azerbaijan.
Where is that?
It's between Turkey, Russia, and Iran.
Oh, wow. That's so
So
cool.
it's warm. I mean, I will say this is like weather today is our super, super cold winter. So,
And how long does that last over there by you where you were?
what do you mean, the winter?
Like the super, super cold. How long of a period is it where you?
No, not really. It's like weather like this is probably, I will say, couple days
Oh, a
during
couple of
the
days.
winter. Other than that, it's, I will say, more of October, November weather here.
Oh, okay.
That's winter.
It's not, yeah, I've been here all my life, and it's not, I mean, we never get to single digits. And for me, I have coats for every level. Like
Yeah.
I'm still on my 30-degree coat, but today I think I should have put my 10-degree coat on. So, I have a coat where I could be out in 2 degrees and I don't feel nothing. So you got to make those adjustments on the outfits,
Under layers, yeah,
on the
more
layers.
layers. I feel myself cabbage in winter. It's like, one layer after another.
Exactly. I used to work in marketing. I would my place was all the way at the west side by the water, 57th Street and 11th. And I would
Mhm.
walk from Columbus Circle, not Columbus Circle, from 57th Street and like 6. And as I got closer to the water, it got so cold. And I was there for 5 years. I had one scarf and then I had another one over my face. I had two scarves.
That's the only thing I liked about masks because they were keeping your mouth warm
Yeah,
and
you get that.
nose
My mom
warm
made
in
a thick one
winter.
for me, and I'm like, it's not only for a virus, it's for face protection. And my
Yeah,
my wife likes to walk to the train. I tell her wear it, but she's fine. She's like, whatever. But then I hear her sniffling when she gets home.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So let's begin.
Mhm.
I'm here with Aydan Sewell, and she had a tech and engineering background, and she dropped that world because it took a toll on her body with constant pain that she was getting. She was born with a disabled, difficult body. She spent her entire life going to physical therapy and other type of therapy, and nothing was helping with the pain that she was feeling. Doctors told us the only way to feel no pain was to take heavy painkillers. Then she decided to research and learn about how to heal the body. She has come up with different modalities. She specializes in Vedic bodywork with her clients in New York City. How does it?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. I'm excited. I mean, I Googled, YouTube, the Vedic bodywork, and it's from, I guess, Thailand. And this one gentleman really gets in there with the legs. And it's very like, yeah, he really gets in there. It's almost like karate on the floor. He turns the leg around and really cool.
They also call it, I feel like, passive yoga or passive stretching, assisted stretching. It all comes like backgrounded from there. But generally, we will take also most of the time what I hear from people, oh, you're going to work with your legs. Not only, but the thing is that you don't really like feel that legs. I mean, if you feel like someone is touching you with your hands,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the modalities that it works. And like, yeah, it does a great work with your body. The way like I uplifted it because I learned a lot of modalities through my life with all like my body and everything. And I think the best thing and the only way payout was my stubbornness. Because when you hear someone telling you that, well, this crucial pain in your body is your new regular regime and you will live like that when
Yeah.
you're in your early 20s, it's like, nope, I'm not going to live like that. You can kill me right here, right now, because I definitely don't want to do that.
The nerve of them to say that, like, just live with painkillers. Like, you know how addicting they are and the side
They
effects
are,
are so
yeah.
crazy.
And
Is
you
it
just don't
because,
know the other way around it. I mean, so I cannot even like blame them just because lack of knowledge, I guess.
you think like the regular doctors are telling you this because of lack of training for themselves? It's all about
Oh, for
medication.
sure. Oh,
Okay.
for sure. So I grew up in medical family. And I'm really great with regular medicine. I think I was trained to do injections when I was 4 years old. I was taking blood pressure when I was 6. I entered first open surgery when I was 12.
Wow.
And all that is because like I've always had this like passion to medicine. And to be honest with you, if 15 years ago someone will tell me that I will end up where I am now, because I was always in love with regular medicine. I was
Wow.
like, go ahead, that will never happen. There are doctors, there is medicine, this should work. But unfortunately, after they let me down a couple times, multiple times, I start searching for answers, because there is always something more. And they do have this lack of knowledge. And I wish they had more understanding of the way body works on energy level, because there is this crucial energy points in our bodies. You can see it in Chinese medicine with acupuncture. What I do is Ayurvedic medicine, because I'm Ayurvedic practitioner. That's Indian medicine that's been around more than 5,000 years. So points are pretty the same, but what they don't understand, even when they do open surgeries, it will be really, I think, great for all surgeons to understand where are those points in the body, because you just cannot cut them. Once you got them, person cannot come back from that. I mean, it will take a lot of energy work, and that's why most of people, they're having surgeries. Yeah, surgery went successful, but they keep on experiencing discomfort, pain, or whatsoever, because that energy point was traumatized and shifted.
Wow, that's so crazy. Wow, it's so cool. It's amazing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I really wish that they will add it to, at least for surgeons, to study those points to understand where you can cut or where you cannot cut. Or the same way, for instance, in Ayurveda, I still love regular medicine. I mean, it's tremendous what they're doing, but at the same time, I remember one of my colleagues told a really great thing. She said something like, well, I don't understand why everyone is saying that comparing to dark ages, the medicine is evolving, whereas 5,000 years ago, Ayurveda was so much upfront with all this. Like, why no one is comparing this progress? Because actually there is no progress, it just go downfall. And now they keep on bringing new things, whereas it's not new. It's been around for 5,000 years.
My mom came from a small town in Italy, and she got a cold. Her dad would go to the field, pick some berries or pick some leaves, boil it. She would drink it as a tea. Today, she's all about medicine. She's all about medication. She's like, I need medication. I got to go get a pill for this. I'm like, what happened to you? She's been here 50 years. And like when she came when she was 22, and, all they did was in the farm. They had one doctor in the whole town, but organic, man. More and more people have to start understanding, like me and my wife, we eat everything from, we have a Yucca app, and we scan everything, because I believe cancer comes from all that. It comes from, the stuff we eat, how our energies are flowing. Like if, we're not using our energy spots, like the surgeries and all that, it goes back to like we are energy, and we have to understand earth and organic. And I think we've gone away from that,
That's so true. But I see the same thing. I mean, like I grew up with a lot of like different, as you said, teas, this and that, like all those herbs. And at this point, I also see that unfortunately most of people who are still doing that in all those like small villages all over the world, they're doing it not with their conscious understanding that is right, but they're doing it because they don't have access or money for real medicine. So if they have like the same thing, I guess, happened to your mom, like once you have access to all this like medications and insurances are covering it, it's not helping you. Moreover, like in Ayurveda would say, to get rid of diabetes, you just need 6 months protocol, and that's it. Most of the time, that's more than enough to completely cure diabetes. Wow. But obviously, when I give these options or say that to patients, most of them, they're like, no, I'm better off to just like, to take some medicine till the end of your life. That is like, keep on, like it's the regular medicine. It's really great when it comes to emergencies. I agree with that part.
To get you over the bridge, right? To get you over the bridge, temporary.
temporary. But at the same time, when it comes to real issues in the body, they're not addressing it. They're just taking out the symptoms. Symptoms is resolved. And all those medications, they usually have like contraindication there. And for instance, the same painkiller, every painkiller that you take stays in your body up to 6 years. So just calculate the amount of painkillers that you took for your life and multiply it to 6 years. You probably will not live enough to cleanse it out. And another thing that I also work with a lot is intoxications and toxins that are in the body. And the thing is that, unfortunately, in regular medicine, though now they address it, and I had a lot of patients where their really amazing doctors are sending them over to me because some of them start understanding that when it comes to toxins in the body, real medicine has no treatment for it. Whereas like holistic modalities like Chinese medicine, Indian medicine, shamanic medicine, they're really working in intoxicating like the liver and everything else. Wow. So it all comes like with all this like process in the body that is occurring. And the way like Ayurveda sees it, it's science of life. It doesn't come only with protocol. Well, I mean, the protocol itself, it includes the daily lifestyle habits that you have to change towards what time you have to wake up, what you have to do. And it's what I love most about it, that it's very personalized. And that sometimes makes issue between me and my friends who are constantly suggesting me to make, all these massive courses, marathons, and everything else. And for me, it's always more of like the most important thing for me is to heal others. That is like main function, and it's about quality, not about quantity.
Yeah.
And that's what most people don't understand, because with Ayurveda, it's like so personal. And that's why I think it's so tremendously helping, because everyone is individual, everyone is unique, and you have to work around their body type, around their energy types, all the elements that are in the body. And you cannot just do one massive thing that will work for everyone. You can try to do it. Someone will benefit a lot. Someone will have no changes. Obviously, it cannot harm you, but I still think that it's more important to trigger people. But one thing I can say for sure, and I think it will be really great for audience that will watch this podcast, it's basic principles that count with Ayurveda that, as they say, is one of the key points to make everyone happy, to live a happy and healthy life. Mm-hmm. We talk about like organic foods and all that things that is important. But, it's very funny when I always say, this is empty. Like whenever I get a fruit or something, this is empty. And everyone's like, what do you mean this is empty? I'm like, well, there is no prana, there is no energy here. And that's honestly what I start feeling most after I moved here, because I don't tolerate non-organic food. I instantly start having rashes and all that stuff. Yeah. And when I moved here, I was getting obviously everything organic label. But what they don't see that organic label is not real organic. And that was as I was proving to everyone, this is not organic, because my body is still reacting. Just because they put this label organic and if you're overpaying for it, it doesn't make it organic. Obviously, it's not loaded with chemicals as like maybe some other stuff like pesticides and everything. But like still. So basically there is regular principles, even when it comes like to fruits. Eat fruits that are grown in your local area in the seasons. So that's like one of the main thing, you can at least feel eventually that there's like higher energy in those products that you're consuming. And along the 3 principles, what every person should do in their daily life, you just have to spend 1 hour on yourself. And that will include 20 minutes a day of exercising. That could be any exercise, even like a walk. But it should be like 20 minutes straight, like not cutting it in between. And it's more of like 20 minutes when you're not thinking about anything else, but just like, walking for 20 minutes, making your own like type of meditation. That counts for exercising with the body. Then another 20 minutes go towards learning something new. So because that's where you're stimulating your new neural cells to work on your brain to keep it young and functional. And the last, I think that's like my favorite part of it, it's 20 minutes of doing something creative. And that goes towards whether it's art, poem, I don't know, writing down the story, dancing. Everyone has their own way to put like creative things.
Oh, talking on a podcast.
Like a podcast, that's
Yeah.
also like creation, because we are all creators.
Yeah.
And we were born to be creators. And when we're cutting down that part from ourselves, our soul starts suffering there, because it's not getting that energies of creating something new, something like that you like. And that's honestly just bring up joy for everyone.
So when you get trapped, when you don't do all these things you mentioned, it traps our energy. And you're saying, like, in turn, when we get trapped energy, that's when we start getting back pain and ulcers and everything else.
It's much bigger topic than that, because what I can tell for sure, I also believe in psychosomatic a lot. So it's like the parallel. First of all, we are what we eat. And if you go to Ayurveda from point of view of psychology, it also mostly relates to the food that you've been eating.
Mm-hmm.
And even more than that, when we're calling and all this genetic disease, like in Ayurveda, there is a little bit different point to that. It's more of like genetic disease themselves. Like, yeah, I agree, they're there, but the chances of someone to get genetic disease is 15%. So why are you so worried about those 50%, where 85% you are creating yourself in your daily life? And even when it comes to genetic disease, it's more of the families having same habits of food, sleep pattern that's been passing through generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is causing all these issues with the body. So first of all, I will say it's the food, eating the right foods that is right for your body, for your elements, because we're all different. And if you would go to Ayurvedic point of view, we have three main doshas, 5 elements like fire, earth, space, ether, water. And once those elements start disbalancing, that's when you're getting certain disease. So that's the first part. Also with the back pain and all the other issues, obviously there is all those elements shifting in the body, as long as the energy shifting and your emotional background and psychosomatic. That's what like I usually say to my patients, because at some point, I had a lower back pain. And first thing what I ask is, what did you get scared of? Oh, how did you know I got a fear? I was like, well, because that's the side of the body that is responding to it. Or if you have like pain, for instance, in your knees or in your legs, that's usually people who had fear of the future. And if you translate it like literally on the language of the body and our subconscious is, you're scared to move forward. That's why your legs are hurting.
Amazing. It's amazing. And that's because we're all energy, right? I mean, most of our body is made up of energy. People forget, like, they think we're just organs and skin and this and that, but we're just this moving energy in our body, and things affect the energy, which affects everything in our body, our liver. I had a guest on the show, and she said she had issues with her eyes, and she found out through much testing that her liver was not right.
I just wanted to say that's
yeah, and then she started healing her liver through like somatic stuff, and she started seeing better. It's crazy, like
energy. I agree that we all work with our energy and our emotions that being like stuck in our system. There is like thing that comes like karmically. Obviously, it's there. But even like with the settlements of the pain, like sometimes I have cancer patients, and usually like for cancer, until you will not resolve the issue on your emotional background that caused the cancer at the first step, it will keep on coming back. I mean, it can come back in 10 years, it can come back at 20 years, but it will come back for sure, as long as you will also not clarify your blood. And by blood, it also goes to liver. So it's like all complex working together in a certain way. And all those like energies, they uplift us, they can bring us down. But also like, I think we're all living in 21st century full of stress. And that's why like for me, years ago, I stopped watching news. Just because they're making you so sick and worried. And like, I'm here in New York, and every time my grandma is texting me or like calling me, are you okay, are you okay? I'm like, what happened? Because like, yeah, we are in New York. In New York something is always happening. And I always tell her, oh really, well, I'm in my bubble, it doesn't happen. If something will be like super huge and important, I will learn it anyway, but I don't see a reason to stress out. I mean, like, we're in New York, going outside is already stressing out enough for you to do all that and shift down your energy to bring like your own vibration down in your body.
Yeah.
And all those like energy flows that circulates in our body, in our mind, that are creating certain like traumas at the personal level, they all affect in our body, because like our physical body is the last source. So first, before we get disease in this body, we have like 7 layers. So it start happening somewhere here. Then it goes like, if you did not resolve it there, it goes down, 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 down. And the last body that will get affected will be your physical body. That's why, like, I even had this situation, like, on myself. That was like before I started learning all this. I had I broke my nose a couple times. So
you lost your what?
I broke my nose a couple times.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So eventually, I think like when I was like teenager, I was suffocated. I couldn't breathe because there's not enough oxygenation. I was fainting all the time. So it's like, it was a lot. And at a certain point, doctor said, Albus, okay, we cannot wait anymore. We need to fix your nose. So they did the surgery that went fine, I will say. They opened a nice nostril and like whatever they did there. But after a certain time, I was like, well, I'm still not breathing properly. How is it possible? And I was going to doctors like, well, for whatever reason, it's like anatomically, it's perfect. There is like no more just like, things that are inside of the nose. You have to breathe perfect. I'm like, yeah, I definitely feel much better. I'm breathing better, but I still feel like once in a while, like there's like clogging on one side of nostril or another. And only like later when I was doing my research, that's what I came up with. Because basically what also one of my teachers told me, well, you fixed your physical body. Your nose is breathing now, but you did not fix all the other layers. That's why like that's still like emotional part of the reason why you were not breathing. It's still in the air.
Saying
that
like
it's still around.
When you talked about how they cut open patients and they mess with their energy areas, right? So the nose was kind of like you mess with the energy when you had the surgery for your nose.
Maybe yes, maybe no, but I think it's more related to a part that I did not fix it in other layers of the body.
Oh, okay.
So like in astral body or emotional body, where it was like coming from the whole like problem itself.
Right.
And that's why like very often like I see people who are trying like different modalities, nothing is helping. So eventually you will find, like, I'm so glad that in nowadays, everything is so easy to find because of internet. That's, I guess, the good part about internet is that there's tons of modalities that are there. And that's all the questions that I get asked very often, like, what should I choose? Like, well, you will not know until you will not try it, because everyone is different. Whatever will work for me, maybe not work for you, but there's always, tons of these options. Like, for instance, one of other modalities that I do is neurographic art therapy. I do it like in one-on-one coaching, or I do it offline, actually, in New York, and online on Zoom. It basically was created by genius in 2014. I cannot call him like other way. He proved that on paper, we can really put down all our stress, not stress, traumas down there. And achieve our goals just by it's basically, I think that the easiest way to explain it is coding our brain in the right way, because every like intersections that are there, they're creating all these junctions that are stopping you. So by like drawing it through, you're letting yourself and your brain know that it's safe, and you start attracting the things that you need to attract and let go the things that you don't really need. So with all those like modalities, and I know like a lot of people are using it also for like medical purpose, though I think it's more, everything should work like in combination.
So how do you come up with the designs? I saw that you do the drawings. Like, are you letting the energy kind of like take over your drawing experience, or
no,
you have a plan?
There is very specific algorithms behind it. there's like a very specific modality how you should do things, and there's like a lot of different algorithms. It depends on what you're working on, what is like your purpose. Like for instance, there are like algorithms that are created for growth, rather it's your personal growth, relationship growth, I don't know, business growth, abundance growth, everything. So obviously you cannot use those algorithms for losing weight, because it won't, like if you want to gain weight, probably that will help you. But if you want to lose weight and create certain like, patterns, like to get that motivation, this algorithm will not work for you. There's like different. But it's like, it's a really great tool of like understanding. It's like, most of the time when people come to that type of therapy, they don't really understand, because it's like, oh, I'm going to just sit down and draw. And the great thing about it, the same like with the games that I play, is that when you go to regular therapy, that I really love, your brain is in this like, survival mode, trying to protect you. And it's not letting therapists even like, get deep into your brain. It will probably take you, I don't know how many sessions. Everyone is like different. And most of the time, it's not even about the person. It's more about of like this safe mechanism that's in our head. And it just doesn't want to let therapists in, because obviously if you will go deeper, you understand that will hurt, because that trauma needs to be uploaded. And the way the transformative game and neurographic works, it's tricked the brain. Brain doesn't understand that work is being done on it. It's like, oh, this is just a game. Oh, this is just an art. And it just lets you to get to this like barrier, hop over this barrier and get straight to the subconscious level of your brain and start working with your like inner abilities, everything that like goes there.
Yeah, I was looking at somebody was talking about like how a lion is, where he chases an animal, kills it, and they said like get your body roused up and then lay down on the floor and then breathe really slowly, and it does so much for your body. Like I forgot what he said. So basically, like the lion eats the food, and then after he kills it, he lays down in the plane and just relaxes and watches the horizon. And you're doing the same thing. You're tricking the body to say, we just went through something traumatic. We're going to calm down, and the body actually starts working its way into calming you.
Yeah. You let your body to go with it, and sometimes it's like a really great results there that come like instantly. Like I had a person who was trying to sell apartment for 3 years and couldn't, and it was so great that she called me 2 weeks afterwards. So like, oh my god, I sold the apartment, and not only I sold the apartment, but I sold the apartment exactly on amount that I showed on the paper. That's when we were drawing. I was like, well, that's great. Wow. Or there was like another point where like I had a client who came to me and she was telling me something like, she needed money for surgery because insurance was not covering it, and it was like huge sum of money. And she's like, well, I need to find this money because I need this surgery. So I think she called me like probably 3 or 4 weeks after we made that like art therapy. So like, guess what? My son just called me and he told me that he will pay for my surgery. Wow. I was like, that is amazing. Miracles are happening once you try trickling world around you.
So your designs are similar. I mean, when your clients do the art design, are they different? Do you see, or is the pattern always the same when they draw?
So it depends on the case. As I told you, like with neurographic, it's algorithms that already were made not by me, but institution. Okay. And that was just like, I passed through a lot of like trainings, how to work with them, because it's very different for different like cases.
Gotcha.
So you don't want also to add up like reflexology. Though I do like the group classes where I have like 20, 30, 40 people coming at the same time. At that point, it's more of like, when I work with group, it always has to be one topic. It cannot be different topics in the group. Okay. So for the groups, it can be rather for abundance, or like now, for instance, it's the end of the year. So I will have 2 classes. One will be of letting go all the shit that happened in 2023. Yeah. And another one, and afterwards, once like we upload that one and resolve it, the second step is to generate the best ideas and intention for the next coming year. So that's like goes with it. But I mean, it's like, yeah, with all the modalities that I do, it's really hard for me sometimes, like, to explain, or like even, I guess, the harder way to marketing it, because it's more of like, everything is so different, but at the same time, everything I do is always related to your mind, your soul, and your body. So I was like, if you'd like to heal your body and your soul, you should definitely reach out to me.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you. So you do also sound bath, and you do also do incense and oils. So if I come in, which I do, I teared my back when I was 22, like a little tear in my tissue. So I come in, like how does the client like me come in, and how do you prepare? Do you have like a certain kind of setup that you do? I'll do some incense around. I'll put some essential oils on them. I'll do the sound bath. Like, how do you know which modality to use at which time?
I think it's more go with feeling person. That's like, first of all, because most of the time, and I think you see it also a lot, people have very closed mind. They don't really believe in things happening around and that they're helping. They're still helping, but I really believe that belief part in anything is very important. It's not crucial because changes will happen on alone. But what happens usually with people who are not believing in anything, even if afterwards, and I have this case too, like I had one art therapy there where person couldn't do certain thing, and right after we made a painting, things start happening. But she was like, oh, no, that happened before we even drew. I'm like, well, I don't remember it that way, but I will let you go with there. For me, what's important is for you to get the result, even if you don't think that that was related to it,
Yeah.
that's up to you. But
They're stuck in, like my mom, they're stuck in that certain way, like the horses in Central Park, they cannot see that you draw. Like I watch other stuff on Netflix, sound, they put sound in their ear and the lady cured her cancer, which is sound waves.
mhm,
People can't understand that other side of the world.
yeah. So I guess in this case, usually when people reach out to me, usually most, I will say in New York, they reach out for Vedic bodywork. I think it's more because it's more understandable for them because the way they see it, it's massage. And though I always like it's not a massage,
Yeah.
and but until they will not lay down and wake up, they're like, "Oh yes, you were right. It's not." I'm like, "Yeah, I know that it's not." Because what happened? Like usually, I always like ask people like, "What are they feeling?" Because most of the time, most of them do this like mini tripping journey. So someone went to womb most of the time, or they're like early childhood, and they just like feel obviously like amazing. And through that, like after that, it's usually goes like whatever I'm feeling at the time when I'm working with the person when it comes to physical body. So if I see that, well, I want to add some like sound baths a little bit there, or give them some meditation while they're like still laying on my futon, I will do it. But it mostly goes like whatever I feel that their body needs that comes to physical work, or like further on when people comes to me with like, for instance, like as you said, lower back pain. So there is like a couple things that usually I can suggest. Like first of all, obviously it's the same like Vedic body work, where I prepare blends like Ayurvedic oils for patients. That goes like individual because everybody's body is different. That's why usually before sessions I always ask first of all if there's like traumas, injuries, if there's any allergies, because if I'm working with oils as well, because like in Vedic bodywork itself, there is no oils. You're coming like breast top. I'm working specifically with your marma points, like pressure points in your body, pressing around the right points.
Okay.
With Ayurvedic work, there is more like all this like oils that can like, some of them are like good for muscular pain, other for skeletal pain, and all that. So I just come with all this like mixtures in advance so I can be like prepared. And further on, if someone is like willing, I'm putting them on Ayurvedic consultation and protocol where we discuss their diets, their supplement, and just like general, body. But what is like really not strange, I mean, like I understand the way like universe is working, I guess. It's very often, I think it's related to the fact that I had, I still have, I learned to manage it, difficulties with my spine.
Mm-hmm.
And very often I have patients who had not only like traumas, injuries, they had broken spines.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, like when I just start seeing people, like, wow, how can like every third patient that I'm seeing having had like at some point of their life, like surgeries in their spine or like all that stuff, because that's not something like, you hear quite often.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just like attracting those people just
I'm
because
telling you, yeah, the universe, energy, we're all like,
yeah, it's all shifts people. And I mean, it's like, that's the part where I say that my weakness became my gift.
yep,
Became my gift, because if I did not, like personally went through all this like traumas, I wouldn't probably understand it better. And even the first case, I think like it was I went to aerial yoga teacher training. That was actually like my first step that I took without even being on hammock even once in my life. I did the regular yoga, but I just signed up for teacher training. Like, why not? I never been there, but I want to try it. And it helped me tremendously after 6 months, not even 6 months. After like 1 or 2 months, I was feeling the huge difference. But I remember I was telling my teachers all the time, because I was feeling bad that like I'm not flexible enough because of like certain disadvantages in my body. Like I'm not flexible enough. Like, yeah, I'm keeping poses, right? But we all love this like Instagrammable yoga where you're just like, bending and shifting, where this yoga is not
warrior
about that at
pose.
all.
Yeah, the famous warrior looks so cool.
Yeah. But at that point, I remember one of my teachers, he told me really great things. Like, you know what? You will be like much better teacher than I am, because all the time you're asking me questions and I cannot address them just because I never had this difficulty. So I don't understand what you're talking about.
So now, do you think all the pain in your body, was that actual pain, like toward tissues, or is that just trauma or your energies not flowing correctly because of maybe your lifestyle? Like, how was your lifestyle back in the day? Much different than how you are now?
Oh, it was terrible. I was eating pizzas at McDonald's every day. So yeah, I mean, it's just in general, I guess, as I told you, like I was I think already like born with like one side of my neck was shorter than another. So it afterwards it just created a lot of like, spine issues, scoliosis, then like, I don't know, traumas all the time. I broke my legs, like this and that. So all of that affected also obviously with the food, because now I understand it. Like now when I look backwards, like, oh my God, I could like just if I knew it earlier, it will be like so much, like better and easier. But obviously all this like energy around us, they are always going. And if like in Ayurveda we say that all disease have like two categories. One of them are intelligent disease and non-intelligent disease. And the issue with medicine, why it's not healing completely, is that medicine sees only intelligent disease, meaning towards, oh, you have like heart issue, you have high cholesterol, and they're addressing this. What they're not paying attention to is non-intelligent disease that are basically coming from energy, from certain like, energies around us. Even like, some people, oh, that's crazy. Like, you really believe in evil eye? I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Because all those like cleansing energy around us constantly, or even though our genetics, our ancestors, they come with us, they come like after us. For instance, it works like there's also like this therapy, I call it karmic cleansing, where you work with your ancestors. Because usually, like even like for me, when something happens in my body, like I'm well tuned with my body, or even like some emotional stuff, or like something, I always know constantly, like instantly, like this shit is mine or this shit is not mine. And I know that it means that it came like from whoever was there, because we are getting 128 people who was before us. We're basically carrying all their emotions, all their energy level in us.
Wow.
And it goes even towards, for instance, like if some of your ancestors, even you don't have to know their names, it doesn't really matter. But if one of your ancestors, for instance, committed suicide, you will still have it in your brain. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're suicidal, but like, once in a while you will have like these ideas, these thoughts, just because it's like imprinted there. But there's obviously also with the energy cleansing and everything, you can get rid of that. You can like fix yourself. And I think the most important thing here is that not to give up on yourself. That's what like lots of people, they got like tired, they got frustrated that nothing is helping. It will eventually help. And there is no such thing, and I think that's what tricks a lot of people. There is no such thing as magic wand. It will not work like this. Everything comes like with practice. You want it or not, you just learn to live with it and just try to move forward and do the things. And the second, I think, when it comes like to energy and the general body, I just want to share like this super easy exercise that I give almost, I think, to all my patients is release of the tension, because we're all carrying tension all the time. I think that's obvious for everyone. And quite often we don't even pay attention to it. And when I tell to my patients that, well, it's can you take, like if you're doing heavy lifting, can you take that thing that is 100 pounds and keep it like this? You probably can, but like how long will you be able, like even if you're like the most strongest person in the world, after a certain time, your body will stop collapsing. And what is happening with our bodies is that we actually are doing this head tension all the time in our muscles. And I see it, first of all, in our shoulders, because very often, even like outside, or probably especially if you're an office worker, you have this like shoulders up that is there, just like, constant, survival mode or like whatever. And what I also just try to release your tension. The same, like even like yesterday when I was walking outside, it was so cold with all that wind. At some point, I caught myself doing this because, like, with all this thing, and it's more about you train your muscles, train your body to let go. It will happen eventually. And I always like, even if the moment you catch it, that you're like sitting like this or all this tension, just let it go for a second. And the more you will keep on like paying attention to it and like releasing, like relaxing, letting go, that's the way you are building this pattern and habit of your body to be able to relax and exit the survival mode.
So why do you think people always tense up? Is that a sort of like survival mode, like you said? They want to protect themselves? Is it like when you go like that, you kind of like have it's like a strengthening thing, right? Like to have strength or something?
Yeah, it's survival mode. It's survival mode that is like constantly on certain level that like comes to our body. And by survival mode, like most of people think that it's something like, the world war should happen, so you will be in that mode. But we are in survival mode all the time on certain things, like because our body was made to protect ourselves. It main function of the body is to heal itself, and we're not even like paying attention to the part how much our body is really doing. And the first thing I will say is that most of people are just disconnected. They don't even like understand whatever is happening in their own bodies. That's one thing. And all this like tension, it comes like first of all with stress. That's what I really love Vedic Bodywork for, because it really helps tremendously. Even like after first session, it helps you to like, release all this like tension that is there. Most of the time after first session, you can definitely like much lighter, if not like completely lighter. There are obviously, like I had for instance a case where the level of survival mode of the person was so high that that person couldn't even close his eyes for 5 seconds.
Wow.
It's just like, and it was completely all muscles in the body, all muscles. I never saw like, it's just like body constantly being like everything. Like even now I did it for a second, I feel like pain already everywhere.
And what's the result? Like how was he, like he couldn't even live his life, right? Everything stressed him out, probably couldn't focus.
I mean, that's why he basically came, because he did a lot of like different modalities. He tried like, this and that. I'm really grateful for people like that who are not giving up and like still trying to stay, because yet again, what regular medicine said, that's your normal. It's not your normal. Your body was made to feel safe. Your body was made to heal you, and you need to listen to your voice. So, and actually, like after I gave him this exercise, I was like, okay, you just don't do anything. I did try meditation. He was like, no, I tried like one time. I don't really understand how to do it. So that's more about you, like to understand how the people are working. And that's exactly the exercise I gave him. Like, okay, can you just spend 3 seconds? Like whenever you feel this tension, just try your best. Just like breathe in, breathe out. We all know how breath is important. Just let it go. And even though like I was not able completely to release that tension in his body, And I was like, wow, did I even like do something? Because I feel like that, like tension, it's
Yeah.
like still there. But after doing like this exercise, I think like in a week, he told me that he's so grateful that it really helped. He start feeling this like, tiny shifts that happening just because he
Wow.
pay attention. Whenever he pay attention, he can like let go for a second. And that's the way the pattern grows. I mean, it took body a while to get to this the tension level, and it will take body a while to get out of that pattern.
So also he has to stay away from like visual stuff, right? Like stay away from news, thinking negatively, maybe change the way he uses words, don't curse as much. Like it can be mental too, right? Not just tidying up the body.
No, the tightening up the body always comes to mental factor. It's
Mhm.
like 100% stressed. And I mean, in the survival mode, it's more of like mental. Your body is not feeling safe. So for whatever reason, the trauma was there probably before it's new or old, it doesn't matter. Like it's obviously the longer something has been in your body, the longer it will take you to resolve and make it better. And the news comes the same way because like in Ayurveda, for instance, we use a lot of words, ama, that are toxins. And what we usually think by toxins is food, probably, right? The food or the general environment and all that stuff. But the core line of toxins being created in your body and like getting stuck there is because your body cannot process it for whatever reason, because it's bad, or even like the same like the allergens are working, your body is not processing it, so it's creating these toxins that are getting stuck in your body. And your body can, because it cannot process it, by processing it, our body is supposed to cleanses them out too, but most of the time it's not doing that, so they're getting stuck there. But what people don't understand, that all this Instagram, social media, let aside even like with the news are like on top of everything. Our brain, our body cannot process all this amount of
Overload.
information,
Yeah.
overload that we're
It's
getting every day.
nonstop. Yeah, it's non. Imagine add the news to that. I feel like sometimes, like even on a day off, I'm with my wife and I can't sit still. I have to do something. I tell my wife, without my phone, I feel like I can't focus. And I'm like, I've done this all my life. I'm 48, but it's just amazing. Is it like you get hooked with the overload? Because the brain, for me, it's like when I get too much overload and then I don't get it, I want to be relaxed, but then my brain wants to go back to it again. It's almost like a drug for me.
It is because your brain doesn't know how to rest. And more often there comes like the fact that, this like childhood patterns that, oh, you're doing nothing, you're lazy. That goes like, that voices of our grandparents, parents. Same with me. Like I have really difficulty sometimes to rest, because when I'm not doing anything productive, like even like I'm growing, I spend 10 hours on growing. You're like, well, I spent 10 hours on growing. I could learn something
Yeah.
in that 10 hours. But it's like, no, hold on, you need to take a rest, because if you will not take rest, your body will start crashing and it will put down you to the bed, where you will just have to stay still and do nothing. But even there, you will sit down on your phone and check stuff that is like happening.
I live by the water here, and I'm like, after the podcast, I want to go drive there, but then I'm like, I got things to do. I'm like, well, we forget about ourselves so much that, we're so mean to ourselves. We have to be really considerate of like, okay, rough week. Let's have a day where you just chill and, watch nature and watch the water go by,
And we all need, especially people who are living in such cities as New York, we're all disconnected from nature.
Mhm.
And nature is really a tremendous source of energy that just like, just healing us, helping us. But like, yeah, just like high paced life, I think it's very important. Just keep on breathing. Because also like with the breathing, no one is really breathing. I mean, obviously we're all breathing in daily life.
But it's funky. I know my breath is like, it's like not a really good breath. It's like up a little bit, down a little bit, not a good.
Yeah, and it's probably like for people who live like in big cities, it's usually the breath that comes only from lungs. And we're not really using this like
From
the
the
full
diaphragm.
breath that comes like
Yeah.
for abdomen and down. But like, yeah. So with all that, like it's just people are constantly running, doing stuff, not paying attention. And it's like, if you cannot be nice to yourself, at least don't be mean.
I know, but we do both. We're mean. We eat garbage, and We don't stop. But I also tell people that I work with that, if you take the time out, like, when we go on vacation, everything works on vacation. You see nature, your brain sees something new, so it's hyper focused on the present moment. When you're present, you're able to heal so much of what you're feeling. If somebody gave you a hard time, you kind of ready to be grounded and say, I know why this person did that. But when you're in New York City or you're in somewhere where you're always constantly moving, you're outside of your mind, you're outside of your body, and you can't resolve stuff. I always say, like, you go back to your childhood because you're not present. When you're not present, you're in a washing machine of your childhood, of your past.
Yeah, but I mean, first of all, let's not forget about the fact that we all have a choice. I mean, like, even living in New York City, we can. I mean, I know that Central Park is not like real nature.
You guys got to take whatever you can get there, because.
But yeah, it's closest to the city. It's pretty like nice and big, where you can still connect just by like putting your feet and hands down to the earth and meditate there. But also, I mean, like, yeah, that's why this holistic community is really great for people, because we all need healers. I mean, like, even I have the whole team of practitioners who are helping me to maintain my body, because everyone needs some help once in a while. And I remember once of my patient, after, like, he had tremendous effect after the Vedic Bodywork, and he asked me a very important question. He's like, you're doing all this, you're so gifted, but who's taking care of you? And I was like, that's true, because that's also like, I see a lot of things between holistic community where we're all givers, but we don't really have time to be receivers as well, where we really also need it. Because even like with me, obviously I'm working on myself, but there's like certain marma points that like I cannot do complete Vedic body work on myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do the marma therapy, pressing like some points in the body, but like not complete work there. But also that's why like you need to once in a while go to practitioners, because everything you do for your health, it's investment. It's really investment, and that's what people sometimes don't understand, because when insurances are not covering, I think that's like the main issue there. So most of the time people are, okay, insurances are not covering. I'm like, I wish insurances did cover it, because like with for instance, the stress, anxiety, depression, and like all that blah 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 diseases that are like they're just prescribing you all those like medications and like everything else that I'm completely against of, until like that's like really clinically needed. But then even then I will like, honestly, I will think about it.
Yeah.
Because even like for me, doctors try to put me on antidepressants, I think like forever. First of all, because of my pain, because that was like help with pain as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, never did it. And I'm never planning to do it like further on.
I was the same way. Yeah. My therapist was like, why don't you take medication? We were in a group and everybody was on medication. He spent like 20 minutes trying to get the group to convince me to take medication. I said, I am not taking none of that stuff. I'm like, side effects. Then your brain, would get on it and you want to get comfortable because now you're good and you're on vacation. No, I said, I'm going to fight. I love being in a stressful situation. I love, when I had anxiety, panic attacks, I was a waiter in Cipriani there on Grand Central Station. And I used to get panic attacks while I had the tray in my hand. And I had this sensation of loving to go through the pain. I love that sensation of being ruffled and getting the panic attack and, and
that's such a way of belief to not neglect your emotions. But also like with all that, I understand like, well, they're doing all that to people, whereas if insurance would cover and people will come to Vedic bodywork at least 2 times a week, they won't need those medications most probably. Because that tension, that depression, that energy level will like shift up and normalize eventually. And there will be no need in those like medication or like whatsoever. So why do you really need to say it? I remember like I have one patient who comes once in a while, and she calls me her Xanax. She's like, you're working better than Xanax. I'm like, well, thank you. and you're giving longer effect. Like after you, I'm like calm for
And you don't have side
conversation.
effects either.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, that's great, but also like, people need other people. That's like for sure. Because even like for me, I always whenever like people are leaving my patients, I always give them homework. Like I never leave anyone without homework. It could be, yet again, it all depends like on the cases, whether it's exercise or it's like breathing or meditation or whatsoever. But even when I do that, I understand that most probably none of them will do it,
Yeah.
because that's how like our brain works. But that's why it's like important to keep on showing up, seeing, and like spending this time on yourself.
Can I give you an example?
Sure.
So I have an aunt. Her husband died in 2007, and she has a lot of guilt in her, I guess, for whatever reason. And she's held on. She lived in the same house. She slept in the same bed that used to sleep for a long time, like 12, 15, 13 years. And now she was playing with my cousins, the little kids, and she fell. And they did an examination on her, and they found out all her bones are all like super brittle. And they told her if she moves too much, she can end up in a wheelchair. So I think about it and I say, she's always negative. She's always really like complaining, huffing and puffing, and, always down on herself. And she tells people about it. Like it seems like she's stuck. Her energy is really like hitting a wall. Is that something that she would come to you and you can kind of get her energy back flowing and help increase her bone density? Is that possible?
I will work there. It is possible. I will work there in complex. First, primarily, even before Vedic body work, I would go with Ayurveda protocol, basically, because that's more inner work. Like energy points, they work great together. But in her case, it's first of all building out that not muscular, sorry, the skeletonal bone density that's there to remove it.
Okay.
I mean, to increase the quality of the bone marrow and general bones. So that will tremendously help on her inner work.
Mm-hmm.
That's primarily. Now, the difficulty that I see with Ayurveda is that, especially here, it's people really don't want to change their diet. That is like primarily.
Yeah.
They don't want to change their diet. With supplements, everyone is like kind of okay taking supplements, but like changing the diet, and you cannot, because the way it works, like though I try not to put on strict protocols, because it's just the stricter protocol. I mean, the diet is the faster herbs work, because basically the way it works is that herbs are amazing. They are helping you. But if you constantly keep on putting more shit, I'm sorry for that, in your body, it will working on whatever you're putting at the time and not have enough energy to work on whatever was there at the first point. Cases are different. Like I have sometimes people that comes and they just don't want to switch their diet no matter what. Also, obviously, with that people, the main issue there is their emotional traumas that are not letting, because their body is so intoxicated that it's not even allowing them to heal, or they don't even want to hear about it.
Yeah.
But like generally, like, yeah, in cases like that, it's first of all, it's Ayurvedic consultation, plan of treatment there with supplements and diet.
Lifestyle change, completely thought
Lifestyle
process.
change,
She needs a
100%.
whole, yeah, she needs a whole package.
Yeah, she's like whole package. But then another thing there is also, is she willing to change? Is she willing to heal? Because most of the time people just don't want it. They just want to be like, stuck in this victim mentality where they don't really, I mean, yeah, they're complaining. I think we all know those people who have those friends who are constantly complaining about like, certain things. And even like with psychology, because I work a lot with psychology as well, they're constantly ending up in same relationship where people are different, but situation is completely same all the time. And when you try to explain them that there is much more behind it, because you're creating yourself same pattern, and until you will not change these things, like do this inner work, you will keep on attracting same people who will reflect you, basically the same issues that is like happening all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they just don't want to change it. They're comfortable there.
It's a tough one there. That's probably the hardest part of your job, right? Because you could do all the Vedic body work, but if they're not doing the other side, it makes it tougher, right?
It makes it tougher, but with Vedic bodywork, I also work with what people see most, I guess. They mostly see that their body is generally feeling more relaxed. They're feeling all this, like I work also with mobility and flexibility because it's like flexible mind, flexible body. It's connected. It's connected no matter what on different like chakra level or whatever. So, and even if they don't believe that it's working, it's eventually their body is just like, gaining this habit and learning to go with it. Like most of people that come to me most of the time, especially in New York, since I told you most of people are non-believers in all that stuff.
You came to the toughest place, New York City, but you can get a lot of clients here.
Yeah, I think so because it's all like everyone wants to get rid of stress because everyone is living there. And that's like honestly most of the time how people come to me. Most of the time people come to me because they're feeling like distressed. They don't really believe in energy work. Honestly, they don't even want, they never, I mean, they heard about it, but for them, it's just like, empty space.
Yeah, like voodoo, like
Yeah, exactly. So like for me, I just like, I stopped trying even like, to explain people
yeah.
what I'm doing and how, I mean, if they're asking me, obviously, I'm always happy to share knowledge. But if someone is not really interested in it and they will even more think that I'm a crazy person who is trying to do like, as you said, some voodoo stuff there with energy. So the first thing that they can definitely feel is like, yeah, they're feeling, and they're coming back because they are coming for this sensation, this feeling that they're feeling, like afterwards, like they're feeling so safe, so good. But for me, like I'm obviously I'm happy because even those like moments, eventually the same like exercise I showed you, like with releasing the shoulders or like your body, it builds up to a habit because you are retraining your body to understand that that is normal. Your body doesn't have to go for all this tension, constant tension all the time, be stressed all the time. Obviously, life is happening. There is good days, there are bad days, but you need to, it's more about how are you tolerating those situations, like how are you like doing all that. And also like now I'm planning for next year, I decided to do Vedic body workshop where I really want to show people, because people ask me very often like to how to do all that stuff and it's hard. So I will do this like workshop where people can come. They will work with partners because you need to show it on someone, and at least like on basic level show the elements that can really like stimulate and like generally flow the body. And it's like, you can really feel, I had this like experiment I was making when I was working only on one side of the body, like only like, right leg and not touching the left leg.
Yeah.
And then I was asking clients, can you please like stand up and walk? And I was like, this leg is not working. The one that didn't work, I was like, it's not working. I don't feel like energy there. And like now you know that it's working, because like for those who are like not really believers, even like your body feels once like you work the one side of the body, but if you're not working the other side of the body, you can really definitely like feel it.
Did you put a thumbs up?
No, but I don't understand how sometimes it just
Yeah, I've seen that one time when I had
like heart or like whatever. I still don't know how it.
Somebody's agreeing with you in the energy world. I don't know what's happening.
Yay! Energy's around.
That was so interesting. But yeah, it's almost like if you buy like a special mop or something, like you can't just buy it. You have to see the information, how it works, what it can do. People are more educational types where they want to see the infomercial, the commercial for the mop and see how it works. Well, how many ways can I use this? So I think what you could do is you can get like a commercial and like a whole video on like Instagram, YouTube, where you explain like the whole world of how Vedic and the other one, how they work together and the results, and just make people see, it's almost like you're telling people to believe in ghosts, like they don't believe energy can heal. So I think it's not really they're against you. I think they just need more like evidence,
Yeah, I think I think it's been already like second month. I'm trying to find Instagram person, the Instagram saver, because I think I really see it a lot in holistic community, at least with practitioners that like I work all the time broadly. Everyone has difficulty with Instagram. It's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like holistic practitioners who are like in all that, they just don't want to, they find it difficult. Not that they don't want to, not that I don't want to, but it's like so difficult to like, to find this time to even like film something, do something, come up like, like with ideas. I'm like, well, my brain is already working so much. And like, I'm constantly educating myself. Like even like at this point, I have free education ongoing. And once one of them will be gone, I will have another one. It's like, like forever like cycle there. And Instagram itself, it's really full-time job. It's not even part-time. It's like a full-time job.
And that's messing with your energy, right?
That's like, and that's like energy. I'm like, I don't really like, I'm trying to like do something there, but it's like, or also like sometimes people send me videos like, oh, you can like take videos like this. Like, why can't you like film yourself? I'm like, I cannot film that because like when I am working, I'm working with energy. I cannot just, drag myself out, move the camera.
That's what people want to see. They want to see the whole procedure, but it's about the client, the security of the client, the privacy of the client too, right?
Yeah.
But see, with me the same way, I work on somatic. I do somatic, and it's hard for me my body's telling me, because I know I'm very in tune with my body, is telling me we don't need the phone anymore. But my passion to help people and to put another little clip out to educate people, like I'm going to do this with the Slinky today, where, our body's stretched out, and with somatic, little by little, you take in one coil at a time and you come together and keep it healed. So I have all these ideas, but again, like I need to take a break. Like I told you, I want to go to the water, relax, try to get myself centered. But like you said, the childhood in me, what do you like? I would get up at 9 on a Saturday. My father's calling me a bum. What are you doing at 9 a.m. still sleeping? Like they always wanted you to hustle and go. I'm like, I just went to school. I'm 10 years old. I went to school Monday through Friday. Leave me alone.
Yeah, but that's all comes primarily like from there. And it's really like all those like patterns that are built up in our system. It takes really. It's a hard work, not only like long time, but it's like a hard work to overcome it, because it's basically our secondary me, not primarily. That we don't like, that's one of the things I see very often. People are so disconnected. Yeah. They just don't understand what is happening with their bodies. They don't really see. But another lesson I learned like very hardly is that you cannot help someone who doesn't want help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like for me, like for us practitioner, that's like really hard, because especially like, I think when I was learning Ayurveda, because we do a lot of reading from face, obviously like face, tongue and everything. And sometimes even like now when I'm sitting somewhere, I think that there was like it was like in summer, we were sitting somewhere with my friend, and there was one waitress, and I'm like, I don't know if waitresses are wearing now, but there's like huge thyroid issues. And that's the point where like I just want to like overstep and like, hey man, you have to go and really, really check your thyroid, because 100% it's like out of place. And I understand that most of the time, maybe that person is aware, maybe it's not. But it took me like, a really long time training myself not to jump on people and like say all that, because obviously no one is like ready to hear all that things. And but everything like really it's imprints in our body. It's like the same as you were like talking about like your aunt, for instance. Like I'm pretty sure that she has really bad wrinkle here that should go here, and her mouth probably dropping
next time
down.
I'm gonna check.
Because that's the grief points on the face. So I mean that's how you can like really see if there's like a deep grief in the body. But it's like, yeah, our bodies, our faces, everything is like corresponding. It's more about you tuning with your own body to feeling, and always remembering you come first, because you cannot help others until you will not help yourself.
Yeah.
And in order to care more energy to heal others, you need to be charged yourself. If you will keep on spending all your energy on healing others, you will probably get sick in the middle and you won't be able to do it.
You have to be good in order to help others, right? So you have to be centered and grounded in order to help others. So that could be your motivation to say, you know what, I need to take a break today, and I need to take a break today in order to be better for our clients, to make them feel better.
Of course. I mean, and honestly, like even like for me, because I'm working a lot with energy. I have to be in resource of energy. Like, I have to be resourceful, because if I'm transmitting my energy, and it can be like sometimes when that happens, very rare, but when I'm feeling like so down, it's like I just wake up like that. I mean, obviously, like, energies are shifting, and people who are high tuned to energy, they feel everything around. Especially like all this, like, all this like craziness that is happening right now in the world, like all this like war and all other stuff that is happening. People here most oftenly, they feel like, oh, it's happening there. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter that it's not happening physically here, but energy level, the vibe all around the world, that aggression,
Yeah.
it's still, you can still like feel it. So that's why, like, for me, like, it's also like very important. And when I, for instance, I wake up and I feel that I'm just not there. Obviously, like, I do have like my techniques where, like, yeah, walking to the nature, just like to uplift my mood. But if like nothing is helpful, and I know that I just need to take this day off, that is usually the day when I cancel my clients.
Yeah.
Just because I can go there, but I won't be as resourceful as I can. And not only that, I'm jeopardizing me sharing like my like, this inner anxiety on other people. And obviously I don't want to do that. So you need to take care of yourself first, and only then you can really help others and take like all these times that you need in order to heal.
So you're transferring when you do the Vedic, and the other one you're transferring your energy too, right? So when you're doing your body work, if your energy is not in the greatest mode, they might not get the full session that you were hoping for.
Yes, because like with energy work, like usually like what I hear from people is that I have very, very, very nurturing energy like this. Usually that's why, like, I think most of people, they go to their like womb or like, early childhood when I'm working with them, because
Mhm.
healing is going on that level. And they just feel like so safe, because what they tell me, like, oh, we feel like the whole Mother Earth is giving us like this, like, safe mother hug. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to transmit that energy to you.
Damn it.
But yeah. But also, like, I'm not only, I call myself vessel. It's not my energy. So I'm really grateful that I'm a great vessel, and that goes towards everything, whether that's like, Ayurveda, or that's Vedic body work, or that's the art therapy that I do, or transformative game that I play. I'm a vessel. I'm a really good vessel who's just like, taking this energy and like transmitting. It's not that I'm sharing my energy or like putting my energy there. It's more of like my ability being the vessel, being a healer, and transmitting this like energy that comes.
Yeah.
I think that's part, I think it's like even more difficult to explain to people.
Yeah.
That you're just like, teleporting this like nurturing energy that is coming like through you.
They're gonna be like crazy.
Yeah, crazy. That's why, like, usually I don't really like explain people much unless they really ask me about it.
All right, so I want to ask you, so Aydan, so how is your transformational brunches? How does that work? The transformational game events?
Um, Transformational, yeah. So transformational board game, it looks like Monopoly for the brain.
Okay.
It's a physical like board. It works. I think it's like, it works pretty close to therapy.
Okay.
But usually, is like one of my clients recently told me, "Oh, you saved me 1 year going to therapy." It's not like 1 year. It's not completely the therapy. It's a little bit more different, because it works the same way. It just takes. We're jumping from this, border there. Your brain is not protecting, so it helps to go like instantly to your subconscious and figure out what is not happening there. So the way it works, you're coming with a certain request. You're coming with a certain request. It can be towards, I don't know, buying a house, starting a new business, improving your relationship, or like some health related issues. It can be anything. The first step, that the way it works, the game really makes you think and understand what you really want. Because very often it's not allowing you to start the game itself until you will not really understand what your brain really wants at the moment. And later on, once you start playing the game, it shows you the moments what you should do and what not to do in order to get to your goal. Mostly it works with the part with, like, for instance, in this game, there's cards that are taking away your money or giving you money, like rewarding you. So the part where it's taking away your money, that are the part that you are doing. That's your pattern that is taking away your energy and not letting you to achieve certain things. And it goes other way around, like the way what you should really do in order to get there. And it's really works. Like I saw really great results with connecting relationships. Or it's actually like with a relationship, it goes two-way around. It's rather couple are resolving their issues or they're divorcing afterwards. But even like with divorce, it's more like they saved themselves like time, because just like in one game, they realized that there is nothing they can do, they can go another 3-5 years, but they will end up divorcing anyway. So they're saving themselves like time with being like honest with themselves.
Okay.
And the same, like it's really great tool for building up any business startup. Like just in 2 hours, you can really build up the whole business plan, starting with where to go, who to call, what to do, because we don't really have time in our daily life to think about it as much. Plus our brain is not really letting us. And sometimes what happens most of the time actually in this game, it brings up to the surface those like traumas and patterns that you even forget about.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So does it carry like the person's energy in the game? Is it a part where the energy of the person has to be kind of like invested in the game when they're playing?
Not really. It works more on a quantum level. So because like I'm not the one who's picking up the cards. It's basically like once you start, it's rather the group together, or if you're playing like personally the game, it keeps on giving you like you're basically, it's like, in Monopoly, you're rolling the dice and you come into different things and then you pull up the card.
Gotcha.
But what I see like most of the time is like, it's like so great mystery behind that quantum field is that all the time, all the cards come specifically related to you. There is like no one way out or not. Like, for instance, like I had a case where the client, the card that came up was something like, your car has broke, you don't have money, insurance is not paying, and like blah, 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 blah. And the client like, how did the game know I really broke my car 2 weeks ago and I don't have money and insurance is not covering it? I'm like, yeah, you will be surprised.
That's scary. That's amazing, right? It's crazy. Like a whole nother world that people don't know about that's happening out there. And I mean, people need to really get educated about energy and, how we transmit our energy, all that, it's really amazing.
Yeah. But like with the game, I think it's more plays with not plays. That's why I call it transformed mind game. Because it works more on psychology level of finding whatever is working or is not working for you in order to achieve certain goals, or to basically get you where you want to be, and be honest with yourself that honestly we're not. Even like the whole part where the people are starting with requests and they think that they are wasting all this time, But in fact, like they're not, because for instance, like we had this case where person came with idea that she wants this huge house where whole her family will live, her parents, her husband's parents, and blah 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 blah. And she couldn't start over 2 hours. Like everyone was playing and she's still rewriting her request, so she changed everything. And apparently it turned out that the thing that she wants the most at this point in her life is a red car.
A red car.
Yeah, that's what like she really, really wanted. Like, from the bottom of her heart, that was her desire at the moment, not that house. Like eventually she got the house.
Not a big dream. It can happen. I mean, what kind of red car are we talking about? Corolla?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but and that's why I say it doesn't matter like which request actually you're coming with, because most of the time, if certain things are not happening in your life, it's all related to pretty much same behavioral pattern that you're doing. Yeah. Rather it's your relationship or it's like your work or like whatever is like there. With the games, it's easy. Like usually I say, if it's the same request, you should do it not sooner than in a month or 2, because that's what I like. Mostly people, they finish the first game and, oh, I want to come back next week. I'm like, you won't be able to come back next week because like you're leaving this huge business plan or like whatever that you have to do. Like you won't be able to do it in a week to see like, results to move like forward from it.
Yeah.
You can come back in a week, and that's what usually happens. Like you can come back in a week with different requests that you're doing. And you know what was so funny, that two of the clients that I worked with, they told me like, oh, this is like fortune teller, but even better because it's more triggered to you. I'm like, well, I guess I can call myself fortune teller now, but like more like, academic level of like explaining it.
You got a lot of titles, fortune teller, Xanax. You got a lot of titles.
Yeah, I guess that's what you get like when you bring in holistic medicine and people cannot like, explain it to you.
Yeah, they have to go on a simpler level.
Labeling. I'm like, okay, I will take it.
Give me all the titles. I don't care. All right, so let's see. Let's wrap up. So, can you explain a little bit about Pitta? I saw you explained it on one of your Instagram posts about Pitta. If you could let everyone know what Pitta is.
Okay.
Not the sandwich.
It's related.
I'm getting hungry.
So that's not the Pitta you're thinking about.
No, Pitta.
Pitta. Okay. So that's not the Pitta you're thinking about. We're going back to Ayurveda here, because in Ayurveda, as I said, mainly we have 3 doshas. So we have 5 elements.
Okay.
That's what I told you. And those elements are combining in 3 primary dosha. It's Pitta, that is fire element. It's Vata, that is air element. And it's Kapha, that is earth and water. I mean, all of them have like combinationalization between like the space and everything. So basically, we all have these 3 elements in our body. And everyone has these elements built up on different levels. I mean, these 3 doshas, not elements, building in different levels. And depending on the test, like there are people who are tridoshic, who has all 3 in pretty same balance.
No.
But it's not only that. Everyone has like different modality. Like I am, for instance, Pitta Vata, but I have 2 predominant. Some people have 1 predominant dosha. It doesn't mean that others are not there. They are there, but they're just different. And it's like, it's really funny because all that doshas, all that elements are basically constitution that we're born with, and they're reflecting our body. They're reflecting towards our nature, meaning how fast we speak, how irritated we get, how slow or fast we are, how much do we like to work out, how our body looks. Are we tall? Are we slim? Are we skinny? Are we have tendency to get fat fast or lose weight slow? It's all already the constitution that we were born with. It's inside of us. Is our mind reckless, or we're like more calm? It's all like, there. And I guess the most thing that's what I mentioned it earlier, that the illnesses start appearing once those doshas start getting out of their balance.
Okay.
And here is the thing that most people get confused about when they think that those 3 doshas, they should be all equal. And that means that they will be super healthy. And the point's like, no, because you were born with your specific dosha dominant. It doesn't mean that if you will make all 3 doshas same, first of all, you won't be able to do it. And second of all, it will not make you healthier. The healthiest is the way is taking all those like doshas that's inside of your body and align them and make them all like functioning.
Okay. Align them but not balance them out, because some of them are more predominant than others, depend on the person's DNA.
Yeah, that's basically, those are the things that you were born with. And very often like our body is dictating, even like towards, for instance, it's even dictates in your food pattern. What do you like to eat? Which tastes you like? And very often you can even like see this thing, how it's like getting this balance. For instance, like for me, I always liked extremely spicy food. That was like really strange, because in my country, spicy food almost does not exist, and people really don't eat like
same thing in Italy. Like we don't do spicy.
Yeah, same. Actually, like I mean, we call ourselves, we're like Eastern Italians, because we're as loud. We use as hands. You can see as much. I use my hands all the time.
Yeah.
All that, like temperament, and like it's always all over the place.
Yeah.
But like I used to eat very, very spicy food. And now, after like years in Ayurveda and balancing those doshas, I cannot handle it. Because now that my elements are more closer to the balance, my body simply cannot adjust, because also like too much extreme is not good. Basically, the healthy diet is to combine all flavors. They should be like balanced. When you're eating only spicy food,
Of course,
it
yeah.
increases your fire level in the body. Fire level increase the rashes, anxiety, anger, like all this, like, you know, all the other stuff that goes there.
Yeah.
All the same, for instance, I had a person who couldn't tolerate spicy food at all. Like, she didn't have spicy food in her like entire life. Black pepper maybe a little bit, but no spices. And after 2 months of protocol, she told me, "Oh, I went to Thai restaurant and I ordered spicy food because my body just wanted it." I was like, "Yay, your body!"
Well, it can go the other way then. It can go the other way where you can take more spicy then after you balance.
Yeah, that's about the balances. Like, once your body is starting like balance, and very often your body is dictating to us. I don't know if you notice it or not, but I'm pretty sure since you're tuned in with your body, you would. Sometimes you have this, like, you know, certain craving of food or like fruits. It's simply because your body is the thing that is requiring it, not the other way around. Sometimes, though, what happens very often is that almost everyone, unfortunately, have parasites, and they're requiring all that food as well. So that's like a balance there to build up. Is that really your body requiring it, or those bad microorganisms inside of your body requiring it?
Wow. So how do you get rid of all the bad microbes? Is that something that you supply for everyone, or do you recommend anything?
Well, in that case, it goes with Ayurvedic protocols, because yet again, everyone is different, and you cannot do. Everyone needs different herbs. Everyone's preparation level is different. There are obviously like herbs that work incredibly great with parasites, but it all comes in combination. And mostly you have to prepare the body, because I think the only people that you can constantly start giving, like instantly, I mean, giving heavy herbs, powerful herbs, are kids, because their body is not as jeopardized as our bodies.
Yeah.
In our bodies, in order to get those super magnificent, powerful herbs, you need first to clean the body a little bit, because otherwise you will start having all this, you know, like breakouts, rashes, and it can get like really dramatic if you will not prepare your body and start doing it. And, you know, it's also another like funny thing there that nowadays I'm really glad that Ayurveda is getting implemented in regular medicine. But at the same time, what I don't like is that doctors have no knowledge. For instance, ashwagandha. I'm sure you heard about ashwagandha. That is now, I think it's everywhere. I think it's like one of the most popular Ayurvedic supplement that is everywhere. First of all, don't buy those bottles because they're empty. That's one thing. And second of all, it cannot be used the way they are just promoting it, like, you know, like everywhere. Like,
you got to go back to where it's grown and get it from there, right? Because by the time they bring it to you,
that's one thing. Also, like there is a lot of Ayurvedic companies. I mean, even like between Ayurvedic companies, most of them don't do actually heavy metals testing, and some supplements do carry heavy metals traces there. So you have to be like really careful. I mean, it goes towards all supplements, but as I said, like to ashwagandha, it's just like not doable. Or it's even like some other herbs. Like I heard it was in Europe, one of the doctors who's like really great GYN, she started prescribing everyone one Ayurvedic herb. It's number one herb for females. It's like really great for reproductive system and just like generally to keep healthy female body. And I heard it from my mom, who is also a doctor, that why you didn't send me that herb? Like, she said it's so magnificent, and she's giving it to all her patients now, because she's also OBGYN. And her response, she's a doctor, and she's like, well, I didn't really believe until I did not really see tremendous results when patients were taking it, and it's amazing.
So what's the name?
It's Shatavari. Shatavari, yeah, Shatavari.
That's a mouthful word.
Yeah, I mean, they're all like, yeah, because they're all Sanskrit names that are still in the plants. Yeah. But when my mom told me that, I was like, hell no. And I called that doctor, because I know her. I was like, you cannot do it. You cannot just prescribe, and that's the part where regular doctors are entering field of holistic doctors without having this background knowledge. And when I told her, like, this is greatest herb on earth. It's like really one of the most powerful herbs on earth for women, but it also feeds cancer cells. So if patient has any trace marks, even in their system, specifically for ovarian, cervix cancer, and breast cancer, you cannot give it to them. And she was just like, giving it to everyone without like trying that out. But don't you use it in Ayurveda? I'm like, we use it in Ayurveda, and I can prescribe it to a patient. But if I'm prescribing it to a patient who had this pathogen of cancer in the system, I'm balancing it out with other herbs who are neutralizing that effect. You are not doing it. So that's the part that's like, very often, I mean, like, I'm glad that on one hand that partially Ayurveda, not only Ayurveda, generally holistic medicine is going to, like upfront there, or even like ginger shots. I love ginger shot. That's actually Ayurvedic recipe, ginger, turmeric. And like my every morning starts with turmeric and ginger shots because they're really great for removing toxins from the body. And
so how do you do it? Is it like a pure dose, or do you mix it? Do you boil the water and?
The way I do it, I just take a little bit ginger roots, a little bit turmeric. I know that turmeric is sometimes a bit pricey and harder to find. You can do the powder as well. And I just add a little bit warm water and blend it. That's pretty it. I mean, you can also put it like through the juicer.
Oh, you put it in the blender and you blend it and then you drink it. Oh, okay.
Or you can also put through the juice machine. You'll just need probably more like roots to do that. But what I'm saying is that at this point, I think you also see it. They sell it everywhere. I think even Whole Foods carry it in like small bottles.
In Queens, you come over here. There's an area called Broadway. Tons of Asian shops with every root you can think of. They have them everywhere. You can get any kind of root you want. They mix them.
No, talking about the roots. I'm talking about the pre-made ones, the pre-made small bottles.
Oh, okay. Both of the ginger and the turmeric.
I mean, they're different blends. Mostly like ginger shots are very popular everywhere. I see like even Whole Foods or other like Trader Joe's, they're already selling that, like commercially selling them pre-made in small bottles. And that's what I also see a lot with my patients because no one wants to really deal with it. Can we get a ready ones? I'm like, no, you can't because they have to, first of all, as I also, it's empty. It's been standing there forever. It's cold and you just cannot do it. You need to do it fresh. If your choice is rather taking that or not taking it at all, don't take it at all. I mean, I guess it's good, but it doesn't have like any purpose in it. Like medically, it's like already processed and empty. Yeah. And the same way, I feel like it will the wrap up for everyone to do. And I think that's the hardest part about Americans. Nothing cold should enter your mouth till noon.
Nothing cold should enter your mouth, what?
Till noon. It goes towards food. It goes towards smoothies. No iced coffee, especially in the winter and fall.
Yeah, because I drink iced coffee all year round.
You can do that, but I will strongly suggest you to do it at least after noon. Not first thing in the morning, because that's also like, just imagine this, like you're sleeping, all your stomach, all those juices are like already frozen out.
Yeah, good to know.
That's why like we first thing that is same in all Ayurvedic protocol, first thing in the morning, it's 2 glasses of warm hot water. That really helps you to open it up, like, to make metabolic system start like working. Okay. But if you're putting cold iced coffee on top of it or like smoothies, you're not helping yourself. I'm constipated. I didn't
just don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. You just like, now I got to change everything now. No, but yeah, I like to get a bagel with. Yeah, it's amazing. Like when you learn so much stuff, I've done a 180. Me and my wife tried to have a baby, and we had a fertility coach, and we learned so much, and we've changed everything. Our toothpaste, our shampoo, everything. And once you start doing that, you feel it. Even my shower head has a filter on it. So Awesome, awesome. Let's see what we got left. Stressful day, client body work. You answered every question I had.
Yay.
Except for the pita. The pita.
Yeah, pizza wasn't the food, right?
Yeah. We both thought about Greek food. All right, awesome. So, Aydan, you want to tell everyone how they can find you and, yeah, they want to find you.
Sure. Thank you so much for this amazing talk. First of all, it was really great sharing information.
Yes,
Learning your
yes.
point. It's a really great thing that you're doing. People need to hear it out more. That's for sure. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And for finding me, you can find me on Instagram. That's Bayram Veda. I guess you will add it there. That
Yeah, I'm gonna add it on the messaging. Yeah, I will. You have anything coming up that you want to share?
Well, I'm coming up. Things are the Vedic Body Workshop for females workshop. That will be one, and another one will be for couples.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, because I figure out like most of females probably won't be comfortable with like just
of course, yeah. So on YouTube, I was like, oh
yeah. So I did like separate females and for the couples.
So now, how many people in the class will it be?
So usually it goes like with pairs. I take a group of about 10 people or 12. But it's like, yeah, it's always had to be like paired amount of people so that they can work on each other. And the way it works, like first, the workshop itself is about 3 hours.
No.
The first 30 minutes, it's a small introduction and meditation work that we like do to open the body. And another 30 minutes, I'm showing the self work that you can do on our like own bodies, where like to press, like how to release headache or like how to release stress and so on. And later on we'll work on each our bodies. So it's basically first you're working on your partner. I mean, like I'm guiding through like on my body that's inside in front of me. I'm showing the moments I'm going around, checking if something is working or not. And then they're shifting.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's for Vedic Bodywork. And as long as it's always, I have transformative board games that are online and offline.
Okay.
And the same goes with neurographic art therapy. I will have upcoming towards the end of the month. That will be after quick Christmas. The one of letting go all the things in 2023, and they go together. And another one of like bringing more abundance and joy in 2024. And obviously, there's always, everyone can reach out to me. I'm very responsive on Instagram. And I'm glad to answer questions because, one of my doctors a while ago when I just started Ayurveda, she told me one really strange thing when I was saying, oh my God, I'm sorry, I asked you so many questions. And she told me a really great thing that now I understand it's really that way. She told me something like, well, when people ask me questions, I know that they're trying to do something. I'm more worried when people are not asking me questions because it means that they are not doing anything.
I think one thing people could take from watching you on this podcast is that you have a very openness about helping. Like there is no bad question. You help in detail until the person understands, so that your main objective is that person to call you in 2 months, 4 months and say, thank you so much, Aydan, you helped me so much. So you got the right mindset, and that's what I try to do. I just try to be here to help. Whatever happens, but I'm paying it forward and I'm guiding people,
It is. And, for my really great professor, Ayurveda, Dr. Vaidya, it's one thing that he always says that I think it should go to all healers, because every time we start our classes, we're making this prayer, basically for everything we do. And he always finished the prayer with the word, let me basically teach my students to heal themselves, heal others, and heal Mother Earth. And I think it's just so tremendous that yes, first we should start with try to heal ourselves, then heal the others. And that will come tremendously because we're all connected to each other.
Yeah. Did you ever see the documentary Finding Joe?
I don't think I did.
It's really good. Joseph Campbell, he studied all kind of cultures, and the one commonality of all the cultures is to like Star Wars. It's to go through trauma, go out into the field, deal with the trauma, and live your life good. And all of a sudden, there's trauma that happens, like what you went through, and then go through your journey, understand it, and then come back and then teach everyone what you learned. Like in Star Wars, the Luke Skywalker's house was burned down. He went out into his journey. He learned to be a what do they call those guys with the sword, and then he came back and he learned from Yoda, and he came back and he taught everyone. So that's the commonality. It talks about it throughout the documentary, but explains it so good that it tells you how you have to understand wake up calls. One guy was smoking and was really heavy. Walking, he slipped on ice. He banged his head, and he saw a vision of he has to be better for his life. And it talks about all that, really changing your mindset and learning to help others.
It is. At first, it should, the right motivation is motivation too. And first of all, it's the way universe work is you're willing to help yourself first. You won't be able to get any results if you're wishing something for someone else. For instance, as you said, I will be a better person for my wife or my family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That will work eventually, but it will work much faster and stronger if that willing will come towards yourself to help yourself first.
Which is hard, right? A lot of people don't think about themselves.
No, they do not. And it's the same like when we go to abundance law. The abundance law basically says that you have to want something for yourself. Like, for instance, if you will put up a goal to buy super expensive watch for your wife, it will probably take you much longer time to generate to get that money. But once you will set up intention that you really want that watch for yourself, trust me, universe will just like cash flow to your personal life, and you'll how did that happen? Wow. And that's like a prayer thing. Like, yeah, you have to put yourself first. I mean, even like if you're in airplane, first it will put your mask on yourself first, and then
so you can save the other person. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not safe and good, how can you help your child? So It really makes sense. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Aydan.
Thank you.
All right, you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and I hope you will still take a walk and enjoy your day.
Yes. And no more iced coffee before 12.
Yep. Trust me, you will feel difference after first week.
Yeah, I have to, especially with this cold weather out here. My body's gonna hate me if I keep doing it. Mm-hmm. All right, Stay warm.
You too.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.